I'm David D, the official voice of the best thriller books. I'm here to introduce the next episode of The Five Angry Men. Today, they discuss which characters are on their Thriller's Mount Rushmore. No one asked me, but Jack Ryan, Mitch Rapp, Gabriel Allon, and Bob Lee Swagger need to be included. Anyway, here are the boys.
All right, welcome back to the next segment of Five Angry Men. We will be discussing which characters are on our Thriller Mount Rushmore. So limited to 4 was very, very difficult. Chris, there are only 4 on Mount Rushmore. So try and keep it to 4. So Chris, since I made fun of you, I'm going to start with you. Who are the characters that are on your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, I have 2 Mount Rushmores. I have an old school Mount Rushmore, and I have a new age Mount Rushmore. Okay. So I'm going to kick it back old school. And I say old school is stuff that I didn't read when I was younger. That wasn't in my timeline when I was growing up. Jason Bourne, Jack Ryan, Bob Lee Swagger, and Rambo. Like coming up, like those are great characters that, you know, you had some stellar writers creating and bringing to the world. So I think that now that I've had a chance to read them, they're great. My new age would definitely be Brad Thor with Scott Harvath, Vince Flynn, Mitch Rapp. And then I have the Gray Man from Mark Greaney and Gabriel Allon from Daniel Silva. So
I thought you were going to say Frank and Joe Hardy from the Hardy Boys. Old school.
Well,
I love those.
I couldn't pinpoint a character from R.L. Stein, so you didn't get one from him. So
goosebumps. No, that's good, and I applaud you for not following rules at all. Once again.
Oh, you said 4, so I had 1 Mount Rushmore of 4, and then I created another Mount Rushmore.
I appreciate that.
Mount Rushmore in the U.S. I'm just curious.
I'm sure there's one probably Vegas or something.
Like Mount Rushmore Junior.
It's in Appalachia. I got nothing.
Less.
Let's go with. We're gonna go coast to coast. Steve.
Yeah, so I did follow the rules of the assignment. I have one Mount Rushmore, which was much harder. I didn't, do a cop out like Chris and find a way to get 8 people on the mountain. But I will give Chris this, right? I think longevity matters, right? And that's what I used for mine. And so you're not going to see some of the more recent characters on there because I need to see more. And I think ask me 5 years from now, it's probably going to be different, right? Some of the folks that Chris mentioned are probably going to be on there. So, but for mine, with longevity mattering, being important here, Gabriel Allon, right? So he's 20 books in, my favorite character of all time. So he's definitely on there. Mitch Rapp, right? We're also about 20 books in, right? On Mitch Rapp, another amazing, favorite of mine. Now I'm going to go a little bit off book here. Spencer from the Robert B. Parker series. Where there's like 50 books. But Spencer, for those that don't know, is a private eye in Boston. I grew up reading these books. These are some of the first books I remember reading as a, sort of a teenager, and I've read every one of them. And it just, it's nostalgic. I just love the characters so much. Robert Earlrich did a great job playing him on the screen, so I can visualize him. So Spencer's one that maybe you won't hear from others, but absolutely has to be on mine. And then one other that we've talked about before in other segments, John Corey. I love I'm a New Yorker. I'm sarcastic. I'm an asshole. So is he. So he gets to go on that Mount Rushmore.
Earmuffs.
That's an interesting choice.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by this. All right, let's go back to the East Coast. Old man flip phone.
Flip phone. You used to call me on my flip phone.
By what? This is not a flip phone. It's not a flip phone.
Just because you don't know how to open it makes it a flip phone.
I keep trying to click it. I won't do it. Mine is, Mitch Rapp, of course, like Chris always says, we're fanboys for that.
Yeah.
Gabriel Allon, because, like Steve and Todd, huge fan, been since the first time I read him a long time ago. I got to put James Reese on there. He's come out of the gate like a shotgun. Just, I think he's going to be around for a while, and he's a badass. We put him up there. The fourth one, I kind of went around between two. I think I want to put the Gray Man up there for the fourth one.
Very nice.
So the Gray Man is, he deserves being up there.
All solid choices. Yeah.
Dempsey was close. Dempsey was close, but
I can dig that. Yeah, we're pretty we're pretty consistent across the group.
Yeah.
Stu, let me guess. You're gonna have at least one of those that matches up. At least one. Somebody said at least one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I started with a big long list, and then I just started
removing
some or crossing some out. So pretty much I think all the ones except for Spencer made my initial list.
Yeah.
I also had like John Clark on there, and just some random ones. But I kind of went with Steve's idea too of longevity in a way. So I started with one that everyone's had so far, which is Mitch Rapp, a phenomenal character, and was probably the series that got me started reading thrillers. I also had Court Gentry on there, the Gray Man. I think Mark Rainey has made that series so interesting and made that character really interesting as well. I had Bob Lee Swagger. I think that whole group of books is really good. He's very different from most thriller characters that I've read. So I found I like that. And then one that I went between two for my fourth one. It was kind of a toss-up. But I went with Victor the Assassin from Tom Wood, the Tom Wood series. He's out of the UK. It's I've found probably one of the most underrated series that I've read. It's extremely good, amazing books. So I put Victor on my Mount Rushmore.
All right, I have not read that series, so I will move that up my Stu recommendation list. All right, solid.
New book coming out in May.
All right. So I kind of went down the same road with you and Steve and did longevity, but I went even maybe a little broader. My first one, James Bond. Come on, guys. James Bond, original books, go back, read them. They're solid. Bond is the archetype for everything over the last 6 decades. So Bond was my number one man on Mount Rushmore because he's the most iconic espionage thriller character ever. So that was my guy. I'm gonna shock no one. Gabriel's was on there, and then of course Mitch Rapp. So at least I got a little bit of modern. And here's where I get a little bit weirder. My favorite, and this whether we consider this thriller or not, my favorite villain of all time, Hannibal Lecter. He is again one of those characters that even if you don't read in the genre, you just say Hannibal or Lecter, and everybody knows who it is. So just based on name recognition, Hannibal was in there. Rambo, I was going back and forth with Rambo. I was like, you know what, Hannibal's my guy. So I went really kind of old school and a little weird with my list. But that's where I went with my Mount Rushmore, because I was like, who has had the biggest impacts on the thriller genre over the years from the foundation? Because that's what Mount Rushmore was. So, all right, anybody got Yeah, right. Kind of get a little weird sometimes.
I think that makes up for your James Bond ones.
What?
I don't know if I consider him the main type of all thriller characters. We're talking about James Reese, Mitch Rapp.
If you look over the decades, the archetype, everybody, any espionage thing was initially based off of Bond. Come on.
You don't think Clancy started any of that?
I think Clancy took it to a different level. I think he got it more realistic. Bond, yeah, exactly. Like Bond was kind of the caricature of all that. And,
get that cat out of here.
Get that cat. Yeah. No, I think that was the evolution. I think Clancy, saw Bond, was like, it's too much, and he's like, let's be more realistic about this and see how things really are. So I think that was kind of the bounce. But Jack Ryan was up there for me, but I was looking for name recognition outside of people who are overly familiar with the genre. So that's where I went.
So that's why, I know you guys hate it, but that's why I went with two separate ones, is because when you think longevity, I'm thinking historically what started it for me versus where we're at today. And don't get me wrong, Mitch and Scott have been 20 books deep, and then obviously Daniel Silva and Mark Greaney are no stranger to having a ton of books out there.
Yeah.
And Greaney's books are deep in research. They're long. They're not like, oh, I'm 300 pages in and I'm done. I still got 150, 200 pages left to go, and there's still a whole lot of story left. So I mean, there's a lot of substance there that could have been broken into even more books, but he's made them.
Whatever. Let's see the dog. He wants to
It's
hang
just
out.
an animal meltdown.
Yeah,
he saw the
exactly.
cat.
Cat's dog. Exactly.
Yeah, he probably did see the cat.
It's like I saw that. Hilarious. So, all right. I didn't really see any egregious errors other than perhaps mine, but we're being way too like on the money today. That something's wrong. We'll muck it up in the next one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
next time we meet.
All right. Stu, are we under 10 minutes?
Yes.
Same time, same place.
Thanks for asking and ruining the recording, Todd.
Nah, it's fine. This is good. We're gonna keep it under 10 minutes. So, all right. I think I'm actually really interested to see what people respond to and what their four are, because I think we're gonna like same issues we're gonna have is it gonna be more modern, or are there gonna be some old school characters thrown in there? So we shall see. So all right, until next time when I ruin the segment. This is for Stu, Derek, Chris, and Steve. This is Todd, 5 Angry Men. Check us out. All right.
Nice going, Todd.